Hi guys, so I wanted to give you just some quick advice on what I'm looking for our independent topic presentations beginning on Thursday. Um, so usually this segment in the class is meant to be an opportunity to practice public speaking skills and to get some commentary from me and your peers on how that went. Um, it's a little different right now because we don't have our physical selves here. So a lot of the things that I would normally be looking for, pacing and finding spots on the floor to talk from, um, doing that kind of body twist thing as you talk, using your hands and not kind of fidgeting as you talk, those kind of things I'm not going to be able to see or comment on. That said, there's a lot we can do with public speaking that I think that we can address through this exercise via Zoom. Um, I think one of the most important parts of public speaking is your organization. Coming in and telling us what it is you're going to tell us, setting it up, giving us a thesis statement, giving us a roadmap of the points. Then, in the body of your speech, you go through each of those points that you promised us up in your introduction, right? Um, and signposting where you are in that speech. So we know what category, whatever you're saying, what box it fits into, okay? And then finally, at the very end of your speech, restating what you just said, right? Tell them what you're going to tell them, tell them what you just told them, right? That's the classic structure of any speech or any paper for that matter, right? Um, so let's say you're going to come in and you're going to talk about something off the top of my head. So all your topics have to be about theater, right? Somehow related to theater. So you can't just tell us about the different types of trees there are in the world, right? Um, the word theater, I'm interpreting very loosely though. So you can talk about the theater involved in, I don't know, playing sports, right? You can talk about the costume design of football players. You can talk about the lighting in football stadiums, right? So that's just a football example, but you can find things that are meant to be performative, right? That an audience is watching, and talk about the performance of that. If you don't want to do a kind of classical theater topic, but theater topics might include what are some superstitions of theater, or what's the difference between doing a theater for stage versus TV versus um, an actual movie, right? How do actors do stage dialects? How do actors learn to relax or before going on stage, or how do they do warm-ups? Um, how do people memorize lines? What kind of stage lighting might there be? So, for instance, so here's your speech. Today, I'm here to talk to you guys about stage lighting. And as I talk about stage lighting, I'm going to talk about three different aspects of stage lighting. One, the colors of lighting, why you would choose certain colors over another. Two, the angles of where the light should be focused, from behind, from above, from the sides, and from different heights. And third, I'm going to talk about the different types of lighting instruments that will give a different kind of focus, and different kind of light quality on the stage. Okay, so pause for a sec. So right now I've said my thesis statement that I'm talking about stage lighting, and I've given you a roadmap of the 3 points, right, that I'm talking about: the colors, the angles, and the types of light. Okay, unpause. Back in my speech. And so first, I want to talk a little bit about those colors. Ooh, I'm signposting, right? I'm telling you where I am in the speech. A little bit about those colors. So the way that stage lighting works for colors is you actually have what's called a gel that goes in front of the light, the actual lighting instrument. And that gel is like a thin piece of cellophane, but it takes a very high temperature, so it doesn't melt, okay? And it's colored. And so you slide it in front of the top of in front of the light. So here's your lighting instrument, slide it in, and any light that comes out is that color, right? Now, why would you choose certain colors over other colors? Well, there's classic colors that mean certain things. Blue means nighttime. Yellow means daytime, right? Red might mean anger or some sort of sexy, lustful scene, right? Um, a battle scene, maybe. Anything that has passion is red. Um, but also you have to consider the color of the skin of your actors, the color of their clothing, and so on, right? I talk. Then I go into point 2. And that brings me to the angle of the lights. I'm signposting again, right? Telling you where I am. I do point 2. I do point 3. I get to the very end and I have a conclusion. In my conclusion, I tell you what I just told you. So today I talked a little bit about stage lighting. I talked about gels. I talked about angles. And I talked about different kinds of lights. And so now I hope you have a better sense of all the intricacies and all the decisions that go into how to make a theatrical production correctly lit. Scene, right? Somewhere in there, I would like you to have some level of interactivity. It might just be a Q&A session at the end, though that's a little boring. You might do like a Kahoot quiz. I don't know how that'll work on Zoom, but I think everyone has phones they can do things with. I'm getting notifications, sorry. You might do a short video clip. You might have a PowerPoint going, right, during your speech. You can share your screen, right? You can also share a whiteboard. So you can do something like this, and then you can actually kind of draw things to the audience. You can get the audience into groups to go off and discuss something and come back. Let's say you're doing the difference that sound of or music has on a script, right? You might get people into like groups of 3, have them read the script for like 2 minutes in a kind of a breakout room, then bring them back and say, okay, scene 1, I want you to go ahead and do your scene. And then you start playing really sad music. So while they do it, we hear a sad song. All right, group 2, you do the exact same scene that you just practiced. And this time you play action music in the background, right? So you can change, and you can talk about how that music changes the tone and the feeling of the piece, right? So some sort of activity or exercise or way you can involve the audience is what I'm really looking for, okay? All right, so that's the structure and the level of interactivity. The kind of final piece I'm looking for is that you are making eye contact. So look at your camera as much as you can. That you are clear, that your voice, you're not kind of saying those things really softly and quietly so no one can hear you. And then you find levels of emphasis or places where you can pause and let the audience think about something, right? So with your voice, show us what's important, right? Ask questions. Find places that seem exciting and interesting and get a little faster in those spaces. Or if something's really important, say it again. If something's really important, say it again. Slow down. Okay, so vocally, I just want you to show us that you're interested in the topic and show us how to be interested in it or why we should be interested in it as well. Okay, so that was physically, use as much gestures as makes sense in this kind of weird box that we have here. Vocally, make sure that we're seeing your passion and your interest in the subject and we know where to be interested. Don't rush unless you have a reason to rush. Don't go too slowly unless you have a reason to go slowly. And you definitely will have those reasons. Eye contact as much as possible. Interactivity with the audience. And hit your mark in terms of timing. So these are 9-minute speeches. I'm giving you between 8 and 10 to do them. So anything under 8, and you'll start losing points. But an 8-minute speech is perfect, right? So just have a clock next to you or near you that you can kind of keep an eye on what the time is, right? I will cut you off at 10 minutes. I will say time, and you will be done mid-sentence. So don't let that happen to you, okay? Okay. Also, don't end or begin your speech on a bad note, right? Don't start, I didn't really prepare, guys. This is going to be the terriblest speech ever, right? That's a bad way to start. Start with something interesting. Tell us something cool, right? Open with a joke. I don't know. Make us want to listen to you. And the same thing at the end. Don't end with, well, That's all I got, I guess. I'm gonna stop, right? Um, make it more of a ta-da, and that's all the things you learned. Yay. Cool. Thank you for listening. As opposed to wah wah. Okay. Questions, let me know. I hope that helps. I'm really looking for structure, engagement, and using your voice to show us what's interesting.